met your first idiot, know-it-all in kindergarten. You know, that's the one beside you whipping up the best dinosaur in the room, all yellow, beautifully sculpted, and then shoves it in your face and says, this is how you do it. So for the sake of this series, let's call this know-it-all George. Hi, I'm Gigi, this is Straight Talk, and this is a channel where you expect the unexpected. We talk about everything to do with life. Good stuff, bad stuff, funny stuff. As a profession, I'm a counsellor, and I'm here to help where I can. This series is about idiots. Now, this is where we pluck 10 of them out of the ether, and we talk about them, and the first one that we're going to talk about today is the know-it-all. So George has grown up to be a primary school student of 10 years of age. And he's the one that sits at the front of the classroom, hand held high, back straight, yelling out, teacher, teacher, choose me. While all the while we're up the back of the class, chewing spitballs and wanting to launch them at the back of George's head. Know-it-alls are no fun anytime. So hang in till the end of the video. I'm going to share with you 3 ways for you to deal with know-it-alls without losing friends. You know, I'm wondering if the teenage know-it-all is one of the worst, because there's no reasoning with them. I remember when I was 16 years of age, and I was pushing past my mum out the front door. She was barricading a train to stop me from leaving the house and hopping into a red sports car with a 32-year-old balding gentleman who I had met twice on the street. Can you imagine? She was a single mum, and the grief that I gave her over this one particular incident was pretty horrendous. But anyway, here I am, smart-assy, getting into this red sports car with this gentleman. I keep talking about him balding only because I know 32-year-olds bald, but what was the attraction, really, for a 16-year-old? I mean, balding, ew, red sports car, yeah, that's probably what it was. So I don't know what I thought I was going to. I mean, really, I wasn't going to go over there and watch The Love Bug, for God's sake. What did I think he was going to do? Anyway, we get there, and he says to me, let's go in the bedroom. Now, of course, I wasn't that silly. I mean, I was silly enough to get there, but I wasn't silly enough to say yes to going into this bedroom. So he says to his flatmate, take it home. So anyway, we get home, and the flatmate drops me off, and I go inside, and there was no way I was going to tell my mum what went on. Never in a million years. You know, to have her say, I told you so. I mean, seriously. But I think she must have heard me coming, because you wouldn't sleep with your 16-year-old daughter out with a balding red sports car man. So George is an adult now, and he's sitting around the table with a bunch of friends. We're all talking about, you know, things that we've done and fun things and a bit of wine and a bit of frivolity at the table. I start to share my story. I went on the Inca Trail when I was 62 years of age. Now, that's an idiot in itself. I cried the whole way over the 4 days over the mountains, and I'm sure the guides were like, I don't know whether they were absolutely pissed off with me or thought it was quite hilarious. But anyway, I made their job more difficult, let's just say that. So while they're sitting off on the sideline, sipping their cacao, or I've never known how to say that, tea, I'm sitting over in my little tent with a mattress this thin, crying my face off the whole time. Anyway, they told me, and I still to this day, I don't know whether they're taking the piss, but they told me that if I walk zigzag up the hill, then it's a lot easier on the body and the legs. And so this I started to do, and I don't know whether it was, anyway, I did it and it felt better. But when I thought about it, I thought, you know what, if going straight up would seem shorter than going like that up the hill. So maybe they found a way to have me walking 2 times as long as anybody else and having a giggle about it. But anyway, I'm telling George about this fact I think I thought it was a fact at the time. And George pops up and goes, no, that's not how it's done. Now, aside from the fact that that may not be how it's done, the fact is that George pops in all the time, knowing everything. And it pisses everybody off at the table, including myself, even if I don't know that this is actually true or not. So what do we do about George and his knowingness? Because he does this quite often. So I've come up with 3 ways that I think that you can deal with the Georges in your life without getting into too much trouble. And you pop in little questions. Like, for example, the first one is, George, do you know snails have teeth? Now, I don't know what you'd do if someone did that to you in the middle of you knowing something and spouting off your knowingness. But I'm imagining and I'm hoping that George would just stop and go, what? And then hopefully he dives right into the fact of whether snails have teeth or not, and he gets a bit confused. He starts Googling, and trust me, I've Googled all of these. They're all true. So you don't have to do the whole fact check with George. Let him go on his merry little way there, checking out the facts. So hopefully the conversation at the table has George very busy on his phone and tapping around and Googling. Now, the second little gem you can pull out of your hat is look at George and say, George, did you know your brain is eating itself? Now, the fact that everybody's brain is eating itself is neither here nor there. However, George will sit up straight and he'll take that on board. Everyone at the table, I think, will get involved in the conversation, and then they'll be talking about Michelle at work. Oh, she must have had a bad night where her brain was a little bit hungry, that sort of thing. So number 3, George, did you know that you can actually die from laughing? Now, this is a medical fact. And so everyone at the table hopefully will be going, what? Die from laughing? And then we'll all discuss, how hard do you have to laugh till you're dead? How is it, from giggling starting, or is it going straight into a huge guffaw and then you drop dead? Which one is it? Now, trust me, I'm guessing this is going to get everybody at the table a little bit giggly. There's 2 know-it-alls in our household, and that's me and my husband. It's an absolutely ridiculous little dance that we dance. Like, he'll come in and say to me, did you know that the Smiths across the road are selling their house? And I'll go, no, they're not. And he doesn't know that they are, and I don't know that they're not. So what the hell this little dance is for, I have no idea, but it looks like we haven't got enough to do. We've been married 42 years, so we'll probably run out of conversation. So talking about neighbours and their purchases and their sales of their dwellings, of which we know nothing about, is probably something that we get to fill up our day with. But the thing is, he is 80% deaf, right? Now that's sad, yes, it's sad. But you know what? When I'm knowing something and sharing that knowledge with him, he turns his head. That's it. And the conversation's over. And I'm over here knowing all my knowingness and spouting it, and there's nobody to hear me. And he's over there with a smug look on his face. Anyway, only an idiot would yell at a deaf man. So this is a time of the video where I ask you to like. I'm wondering how many likes are down there at this point in time, because I'm just launching this video today. So a couple of likes by the end of the day would be nice, and a subscriber would just about have me having a glass of wine by the end of the day. So please do that if you feel like it. But do remember, there's one thing that we have to really think about, and that is that George has problems. And anyone that wants to know it all that much, think about it. They don't have a lot of confidence, and maybe no one listens to them. So, this is their way of feeling important. So having a bit of compassion for George might be a nice thing to do. But also think about this. We like George. We like him. We like having him at the dinner table. We like him being our friend. But we don't like him knowing it all. So that's when we just sort of pull these ones out of the bag, and they're a bit funny, and, George can have a giggle too, hopefully. So before I sign off, what's the big question? Are you a know-it-all? And how do you know that you're a know-it-all? I'm guessing if someone turns to you and says, do you know snails have teeth? That's a pretty good indication. So over and out. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video when we talk about the one-upper, another idiot that we have to deal with. But please don't forget to write, any comments down below. I'll answer every one of them, I promise. If you've got any problems that you'd like to discuss, please do so. If you've got a story that you'd like to share, please do so. Remember, it's straight talk, and yeah, let's talk straight.